Hi, my name's Tony McMahon, and this is the When You Die podcast. And it's really intended to be practical advice and guide to action after the loss of a loved one. And this is based on the fact that I've really struggled to find practical advice and really shared experience from people about what happens after death, but also the process before death. There's one thing we have to say about death and dying is it's an incredibly bureaucratic, boring, to be honest, laborious process, but it's also deeply distressing. What I want to talk about today is how to handle the care home after your loved one has died. Now, assuming that your loved one is in a care home, they will probably have been taken to a hospital, your loved one. In the case of my father, he collapsed in the care home, was then taken to hospital and died 2 weeks later. Two things you need to do with the care home when you feel you're able to do it, but the sooner the better, is to first of all, of course, notify the care home that your loved one has died. You would be surprised, I certainly was, at the lack of communication between the hospital and the care home. Now, the care home will find out, there's no doubt about that, but you might as well speed up the process. Also, to be blunt, establishing a cut-off date that your loved one has now died, that the room is, if you want, free, and that basically the final statement should be based on the date of death. I'm not saying care homes wouldn't do that, but you might as well get in there quickly and tell them. So in the case of my father's care home, there was a 2-week notice period, but we paid a month in advance. Plus there was some money in the kitty for personal care. Plus, note that the 2 weeks that my father spent in hospital, there should be a deduction from the final care home bill. So raise that with the care home. You know, he wasn't in the care home, he wasn't receiving care, he was in a hospital. Now I got a 10% deduction on the final statement. Now I hope this doesn't sound too mercenary, it's not intended to, but you do have to deal with this after the death. Establish how much you've paid for. Did you pay in advance, which I believe with most care homes you do pay a month in advance, not in arrears. What is the notice period, and was there any money left in the kitty? Now in my case that's left me with about a £4,000 rebate from the care home, so it's not an insignificant amount of money, pays for the funeral apart from anything else, so make sure that you're very clear on that. The other thing that you need to do with the care home, of course, is to get your loved one's effects back. Now there may not be much, there may not be anything of value, but nevertheless get it boxed up and get it back. You may in lockdown conditions have to get it couriered back. Unlikely the care home will pay for postage, so I ended up getting it couriered back. And you may find that there's useful items of correspondence and so on that will help with the probate. So that's always worth bearing in mind. A note on things like wedding rings. My father's wedding ring went missing somewhere between the care home, the hospital and the crematorium. Missing without trace, gone, never to be found again, I suspect. So just be aware that there will be things that just disappear into the ether and you will never see again. And you can moan as much as you want, but I bet you'll never see them. Well, I hope that was helpful, and let's meet again soon.